Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with Canadian-based SEO expert, artist, and musician David Fox. He is quite talented in music and art as a visual artist, along with owning Dot Ninja SEO. The company is a Cambridge, Ontario-based SEO company focusing on helping small to medium-sized businesses improve their online presence using a range of SEO and SEM techniques. He's got a great story. Enjoy this interview.
Hey, it's Joe Dimino. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So you have the interesting mix of things that make you who you are. And before we get into that, I want to know, first and foremost, how did you survive COVID as an artist? How did you get through that time, and how has that changed you now that we're kind of coming out of it?
Well, I was already doing online marketing. So that was kind of fortuitous that I was doing that. My art is sort of mixed in with the marketing now. So I was always sort of an artist first in the past. And then at some point, before COVID, I decided to look into online marketing stuff. And that sort of took a foothold, and I was able to sort of make inroads there. And that was what I kind of did for the whole pandemic, is just continue doing my online marketing stuff.
So you are based in Ontario, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you originally from there?
Yep.
Okay. So, you are obviously a highly driven artistic person. How did all of this begin for you? Talk to me a little bit about your childhood and maybe some artistic musical influences on your life.
Well, I've always been sort of a drawing and painting kind of guy. I've sort of started doodling and whatnot when I was really young, 3 or 4. I don't know what it was, how I got into it. I just had the materials handy, I was given paintbrushes and pencils and things like that. So I was starting to draw on things and paint on stuff. And I don't know, just I came from a sort of, I guess, artistic family where people were kind of sort of free to do those kind of things. So that's sort of how I got going when I was a kid. And then I just sort of obsessively was drawing stuff throughout my childhood, because of growing up in the 80s. I just watched a lot of cartoons and whatnot. So I was influenced by just the TV and all the stuff that was on TV and cartoons and shows and stuff like that. So that kind of got me kind of ramped up to do more art stuff. And I was sort of thinking about characters and thinking about, just this sort of fantasy world that was sort of part of the 80s culture,
Yeah, totally. And I lived that too, so I understand how pervasive and prevalent that was. And so how do you put your art? Do you have shows? How do you exhibit your work?
Well, typically I've just sort of, haven't really gone to galleries so much as I'll just walk into an establishment, like a restaurant or a bar or something, someplace that looks like it could use, some cool art on the wall and stuff that sort of suits my aesthetic. And then I'll just talk to the owner and I'll try to get in there. I'll see if they have what kind of schedule they have for artists, if they have shows or not. And, just paying attention to different shows that are happening that could involve me. My general area here in Ontario is more of a traditional art kind of place, I guess. Not really the kind of art that I do is more, would suit more to a wacky New York kind of scene or something. But here it's more more traditional stuff. So I kind of pick and choose where I kind of try to get my stuff out there. And then now it's online is sort of an option as well. So it's just fully kind of try to embrace the options that I have,
Yeah. So, and you're also a musician. So are you a drummer?
I'm a drummer. I write songs. I kind of do, I wouldn't say I do everything. I wouldn't say I do everything, super well. I'm I'm a pretty good songwriter. I think I'm more of a songwriter than I am a player. I can play guitar. I can play drums. I think I play drums better than I play guitar for sure. And I also sing and stuff. So because I've been teaching music for a long time. So like I went from like playing music to teaching it. So eventually I kind of got into the groove of just like, teaching and like learning the fundamentals of, all the instruments, the basic instruments. Nothing like, I don't play any woodwinds or anything like that, but just the basic rock instruments.
Yeah, I dig it. So how do you parlay through all of these interests that you have and these vocations, so to speak? Being a musician, a teacher,
Yeah.
being an artist, and having a marketing influence. How do all of these come together to form your id?
Well, I kind of have a like OCD, so I guess in the sense of like I'm fairly obsessively minded in terms of just like pursuing certain things. Like if I get kind of into something, I kind of just do it for all the time for as long as I can handle it. And so these things kind of, I wouldn't say they integrate necessarily even well, because like, I don't know, like music and art are kind of a hard thing I've found to market, like in the way that I market other things online, because normally with the online marketing that I do, it's sort of more like affiliate and niche related websites and things that are like sort of easier to market. And art is sort of one of the tougher markets to market. So it's like a thing that I've always been like in the past 5-10 years, I've been trying to like pull art into the marketing world without actually like completely compromising sort of what I like to do. So it's sort of like a big mishmash of things happening, but I try to like see what is sort of important to me at the time and just like focus on, for making money or whatever, I have to kind of focus on that, because certain things that I like to do might not be as profitable as other things that I can do.
Oh, I get that. Believe me, I've diversified myself as well. I know how that works. You got to have a day job. You have to have income. So let's say you're in front of a bunch of grade school kids at a career day, and one of the kids looks up at you, a third grader, fourth grader, and they look at you and say, "What do you do? What's your job? What do you wake up and do every day?" How would you answer them?
Well, I'd say in more recent times I've been doing online marketing stuff. So basically like building websites, doing SEO stuff to those websites. So it's like optimizing the searchability of websites in Google, researching and sort of exploring different markets and niches and stuff. So like say coffee would be one of them that I've explored for a lot of time. So I've, I'll pick a market that sounds up my alley and I'll kind of explore it and look at the keywords and look at the products. I've done some drop shipping for a couple of years. And so drop shipping is one of those things too that like a grade three kid wouldn't have any clue what that is. It's much less like some adults have no idea what it is. And affiliate marketing too is sort of similar. Like these are kind of obscure things that can make money, but they're also kind of obscure. So I'd have to sit there. I'd have to explain it like a little bit for a little bit of time just to get them to have an idea what I'm talking about.
I get it. Yeah, no, I get it. So speaking of art and music, more specifically, we all have role models and heroes in our lives. Who have those been for you? Who have you admired and looked up to that's influenced the way that you produce and create?
I'd say, well, for music, it's like I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. So I have like for instance, right here, I still have a bunch of CDs. I still have like 1,000 or so CDs in my collection that I haven't gotten rid of. So I keep accumulating like stuff that, from artists that I've listened to over the years, and there's lots of different people that I kind of look up to as far as artistically, I guess. So I mean, I could list off a few people that I listen to, and like I'm just looking at my CD wall here, and there's just like let's see what I got here. Let me see. Gene Vincent, Slayer. I'm just looking at random CDs. Magazine,
Nice.
Fugees. Just like there's like a real assortment of things on here, like different genres, like Depeche Mode, Soft Machine, Pulp, the Meat Puppets, the Platters. Like there's just so many things, right? It's just like it's like going to the Beat Goes On or something. Just like a CD store. There's tons of stuff.
Yeah. No, I get it. So if you could meet one person alive on the planet right now, who would it be?
That's a toughie because there's so many people that I guess I wouldn't mind chatting with. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind talking to Frusciante from the Chili Peppers just because I've listened to his music a lot. And, yeah, he's definitely like an inspirational kind of figure to me because, you know, I sort of have followed his career through the years and stuff and just like his solo projects. And you know, I kind of relate to his playing a lot. So, and if I go on YouTube, I'll just randomly check out like, say, Chili Peppers. I check out a lot of stuff, so it depends what pops into my head. But yeah, definitely. Do you know who that is? Like I assume.
Oh yeah, John Frusciante. Yeah, He kind of
most people that are into music.
Yeah, in and out of the band. In fact, my wife and I always make a joke. Anytime we get in the car or we get together, the Chili Peppers play every time. We just look at each other and we're like, here it goes, you know. And it could be anything. It could be Blood Sugar Sex Magic. It could be Californication. Whatever era or genre it's like, it's going to happen when we get together. We make it happen. So
like on the radio or
anywhere. I mean, we could be like at a outside walking somewhere where there's like moderate shopping and they're playing music and we're like, what is going on? I mean, we could be waiting to like see like a Ben Folds show in Lawrence. I think we went like back in May when things were opening up, and one of the songs they played in that hall we were at was a Chili Peppers song, and it was like every time. Yeah, so
yeah, just like follows you around.
It's random. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
Yeah, but
that's cool.
Yeah, so it is. Yeah, it's kind of one of our. It's developed into one of our things. In fact, we just took a road trip from Kansas City to San Diego, and shortly after we crossed the line in California, maybe an hour into it, Californication came on, and it's like, here we are, we're in California, and they're following us. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds like it. They have it. They're watching you.
On us. Yep, they are totally following us. So, what has been one of the best fan responses that you've ever gotten from, you know, something that you've created?
Let's see. I don't know, like I'm kind of locally, like in my town, like I've been around for a long time, so I get some props from people for doing like music or art or whatever. Like I don't know, I get random appreciation from specific people sometimes. Like, you know, I'm kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but just like I know a lot of people, and people, you know, they're quiet, they won't say anything for like a while, and then people come out of the woodwork and they'll say something nice to me about something that they saw or that whatever. Like I played a show last week, and it was like a charity kind of concert for like, it was like a backyard concert. It was like the first sort of backyard concert that I've played in like, I guess years, you know, because of COVID. So that was cool, like to actually, you know, play a real show that with like sort of a purpose and stuff like that. So that was pretty good. Like people were kind of like, you know, it's like I always sort of between shows, I'm always thinking about like, you know, how I've progressed or something. Like I always, you know, get excited to sort of show people like the new stuff that I'm doing and whatnot. So I don't know. I can't say that anyone like notable has like come along and said anything like, you know, amazing to me. But there's people that come out of the woodwork and say things to me that are nice.
So if you have a dream tonight and you run into a younger version of yourself, you know, say in your 20s, and you could give your young version one piece of advice based on what you've learned throughout all these years, what would you tell your younger version? Yeah, I think, like, because I went to school for fine arts, like, in university, and the thing that I kind of regret about that is that they didn't really teach too much in the way of, like, marketing yourself. So, like, we learned all these fine arts kind of skills, and it was cool to learn the techniques and stuff like that. But then once you get out of school, you're just sort of thrown off a cliff. You're just sort of, you don't know what to do with as far as who to approach or things like that. Like I just had no basis for kind of
marketing stuff, and also like there was stuff on the computer that I learned like way later, like 5-10 years ago, that I wish I would have learned like 20 years ago, because I was playing catch up with a lot of the stuff that I learned with computer, like online marketing. So that's stuff that I wish that I would have, been told at some point by someone, just because the art world is so hard too, and music, they're both equivalently difficult to, kind of market effectively. And, I'm just starting to learn it now more than anything. So back in the day when I was like 20, I was really clueless as far as how to approach things, as far as how I could profit from the stuff that I like to do. Yeah,
I understand. So everyone has a perception of you, an idea of who they think you are, your family, your friends, clients, but you ultimately live your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's because people do have certain perceptions of you. So when you sort of walk into a certain situation with certain people, they kind of think they know who you are, and you have to kind of act accordingly, because you don't want to just like come across as completely schizophrenic to everybody that you know. So you have your way of acting with your family, and you have your way of acting with certain people. So I don't know, like for me personally, like I have a pretty solid idea of like how I think, who I am when I'm by myself. But yeah, you have to sort of tweak it as you go through the day, because people are sort of expecting different things from you. So I know people are ultimately very, what am I trying to say? Like selfish, kind of like you want to just do your thing the way you want to do it. And for me, I kind of like have a thing where I do stuff, and, if people don't get it, like I don't really care. Like I'm a pretty nice person to people, and but if when I walk away from them, I'm kind of like, I'm going to do my thing ultimately. So it's a bit, I don't know if I'm making any sense or not, but.
No, it makes sense. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And that's kind of the framework for that question is kind of wide open. So talk to me a little bit about what if anybody wants to get into the world of David Fox, whether it's with SEO, art, music, where do they go? How can they figure it out? How can they buy and consume what you do?
Well, I have a website, davidcharlesfoxart.com, and that's where I'm sort of selling my my artwork. So I think I got that right, davidcharlesfoxart.com. And for music, I have Young Coconut, which is out there, like on Spotify and other platforms. So the music is Young Coconut. The art is davidcharlesfoxart.com online. What else? And then there's Dot Ninja SEO, which is my SEO kind of blog company. Like I have a sort of a website there, and it's sort of like half blog, half offering services. So it's out there. Like I have a lot of different spots that people can go to check me out.
Wonderful. David, hey man, thanks for opening up. Good luck with everything. It was great to get to know you, man.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot for the call.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, and music around the globe. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.